Morning, everybody. Morning, 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 morning. Alright. Welcome to another stream here. This is an early morning stream. Just wake up, so when I look all that fresh, so you won't see me today. But you'll hear me, right? So we're talking about interesting topic. We're talking about the whole idea of putting your sick fish to sleep. Back in the earlier days, I heard I heard about this guy by the name of Dr. Kavakian. Anybody hear that name, probably within my age group, they would say Dr. Kavakian is the doctor of death. There are some ailments that you are practically doomed for death. There are some ailments in which, no matter what the doctor might try, the experimental medicine, it does put off the inevitable, which is death for probably a few months, weeks, or probably some days. And what Dr. Kavakian would do he's a doctor, by the way, but what he will do, he would assist you if you so, because some persons, they're really that sick and it's sad to say they are feeling really excruciating pain, and um, this pain is so unbearable that some persons prefer death than this pain, right? But doctor-assisted death can result in the doctor actually losing his or her license to practice medicine. So therefore, if anyone is found, well, in some places in the world, I don't know if it's legalized now, but in some places in the world, or should I say, in most places in the world, doctor-assisted death is practically illegal, and its sanction is that you go to prison for either homicide or first, second, or third degree murder. I'm not 100% sure as to the legal system where you are at, but it is not something that to be played around with. You spend five 5 years doing med school, then you spend another 2 years specializing, then you spend another 5 or 7 years becoming I call it now expert in a particular area, and then after about 15 years in medicine, you end up becoming what I call a consultant. Just invest all that time, all that money, all that energy into uh becoming a physician, and then you become you make this stupid move by by actually assisting someone to die, and upon investigation they actually find that the doctor is at fault. I mean, like the doctor actually assists someone's death. All right, at the moment right now, I would like to pause. Hey, gaming love Duke, bro. Nice seeing you. Today we're talking about what idea of doctor assisted death. Well, really and truly, I am a fish keeping channel. I deal with the keep and care of fish, pets. So we get into that part where whether or not we should actually practice the whole idea of I call it putting the pets to sleep. But as with all conversation, you have a preamble. First and foremost, I would like to give a shout out to all those persons who have been supporting me over the years. I appreciate them for actually, their support, the energy, the collaboration, the ideas, everything that they have done so as to make this channel what it is right now. Right, I'm gonna have a special stream probably tomorrow where I do a really special shout out to uh at least 10 persons that I consider really awesome, that and this shout out stream might end up having a lot of persons um not not feeling comfortable because their name is not on the list. But the 10 persons that I've actually placed on the list are persons that have been with me from day one and or a good while, and they have supported me and stuck by me and supporting me with regards to my channel growth, my channel ideas, my channel perspective, what my channel stands for, regardless of all the ups and downs that I've actually gone through with regards to this channel. Alright, so getting back to the what we're doing. So I deal with that tomorrow. Tomorrow is what? Tomorrow is Thursday. So Thursday morning, yeah, these days for the entire week, I'm doing sporadic, or should I say, unscheduled stream, right? So I come on during the course of the day, no time, no premiere, nothing at all. Just come on and talk, and then we just have a conversation on topical issues, and that relates to fish keeping life and the fish keeper, him or herself. All right. So the dimension of this conversation surrounds uh whether or not you think a doctor should actually have assisted his or her patient um to die. I'm a great fan of a series. It no longer runs on the telly, right, on the cable. I think the series name is House, where a maverick doctor. He is really brilliant, right? Well read, well practiced, and he looks at specific cases that that affects human health. And he first of all, he's an atheist. He doesn't believe in God. He doesn't believe in faith. He believes that for every anomaly there is a causation factor, and for that he seeks to find a causation factor and fix it. Right? As far as he's concerned, situations probably once the solution is found, that's it with him. He doesn't like to see meet his patients. Only on extreme cases he meets his patients, and he normally uses a group to actually diagnose, treat, to guide ideas as far as um, managing a set problem. All right, so this topic might sound heart rending. This topic might sound as if it's not up your alley, but whether it is about pets or humans, right? It's really brings a bell as to whether or not a life is worth you taking, right? You have a pet, so let's get into the whole idea of putting your pet to sleep. Many of the ailments that pets do have, or should I say, many of the ailments that uh humans have, pets do have. I have a video coming up shortly with a goldfish with a huge tumor on its head, right? That huge tumor can probably be deemed as a cyst that affects humans, or it can be considered a benign tumor, or it can be considered a benign tumor, which will automatically becomes what you call a cancerous tumor, right? So fish do goes through, well, should I say, animals do go through what you call ailments. You have, you have high blood pressure. Once you have blood in the system, they do have high blood pressure, right? I had a dog once, and whenever I tried to bathe the dog, I realized that the dog's chest, because the dog doesn't like water, so the dog chest would beat very, very fast. Now the beating of the heart very fast actually affects the heart rate. Well, affect the blood pressure, should I say? Right. So therefore, that means it has some um some impact, some implication on blood pressure. So here you have blood pressure being a causation factor. You also have problems, dental problems. I usually have a dog once, and I actually brushed his teeth with a toothbrush, and it stung, right? And I gave it vitamins, and I spent time to groom it, just like how I would do myself, right? Because I believe that hygiene is of primary importance. Also, I would purchase um I would purchase chemicals so as to get rid of the ticks and the flea, because where the dog goes, I'm not really there to say here. Don't go there or ever. Dog will jump fence, dog will go next door, dog will actually roll into um garbage and all those things, right? So you might say to yourself, sir, but I have a fish and the fish not going anywhere. The fish is in the aquarium, and the fish is not really associated with any other aquatic creatures that might have any ailments. So I don't understand, why is it that the fish is sick? Well, there are several causation factors which influence your fish being sick. One of the primary thing why your fish might be sick is that you're not changing the water as how you should. Remember, unlike humans, when you use a toilet and you flush the toilet, right, the waste goes into a treatment area, and then it is released either at sea, or it is treated and sorry about that. It's treated and recycled. All right. Um, when a fish is in a bowl of water, or an aquarium, or a pond, right, a fish actually don't pee. A fish actually does everything together. Whenever it releases poo in the water, or should I say, yeah, it's waste in the water, right? Everything is wrapped up into that, and that fish waste end up polluting the water. So you end up with a lot of uh nitrogen, nitrites, nitrates, and that no nitrites, nitrates end up being transformed into ammonia, and fish taking in ammonia is like poison. Worse whenever you don't have any plants within the space to actually use up all that waste from the fish, right? So the fish is there, and the fish is exposed to this high level of nitrates and nitrites. The fish is exposed to possibility of ammonia poisoning, and as a result of that, you find that the fish start to get sick. Not only that, but the fish has an origin. So the fish, you get the fish from a pet shop. Saw the fish in the aquarium in the pet shop, and you purchase the fish. Right? When you purchase the fish, care on the fish for a bit, you say the fish is looking good and all that, but after a few days you realize that the fish has something on it. The fish have some parasite. The fish have some ailment, right? And the fish start to get sick. The fish can be a cheap fish, can be an expensive fish. Um, so you try everything that you can. You purchase medication. I remember I had two goldfish once, and I purchased medication for the fish. and the medication itself was more money than the fish itself. But I still love my fish, so I purchased it. And one thing I read on the package for the medication of that fish is that it says that I should ensure that I do not come into I call it now contact with the medication for too long, because not only can it um manage the ailment of the fish, but it might cause my health also. Also, the fish, right, must not be left in the medication for more than X time. So after caring for the fish and all that, the fish look better. But after a few months, after medication are finished and fish look better, the fish just got back worse and the fish died. Right? So the paradox of it all is that, looking at it all is that you wonder whether or not I should have actually spent so much money, to buy medication, spend so much time to treat the fish, and the fish will automatically die. Bearing in mind that there are several other fish within the pet shop that I can purchase. I don't need to actually, you know, uh, work up all my energy and my strength, and work up my blood pressure, getting the fish back to good health again. I can just allow the fish to die, right? During the era of Dr. Kavakian, there was a lot of agencies that were out to get him. Dr. Kavakian was so sick in his doing, he was charged for several assistants, but he was never convicted, right? For most of them. I'm not 100% sure what happened in the last part, because after a while it becomes so redundant talking about Kavakian. Every time I hear the Kavakian term, or should I say name, right? He say, yes, man, this man is an angel of death, right? They're going to lock him up, they're going to charge him, and then they're going to let him out because they're not going to find any evidence. But normally, he deals with patients that are terminally ill. All right, when you say you're terminally ill, is it suggestive that you should actually hasten the process for dying? A lot of persons are terminally ill, deemed terminally ill by their medical physicians. However, their terminally ill classification by their physicians um probably might have them living probably 2 3 years. Um, so to what extent do you accept being terminally ill? All right. So okay. Okay, sorry about that. Sorry about that. I had to adjust something on that I just got on my phone. All right. So as far as putting your fish to sleep, as far as assisting your fish to you know die, it's much painful to assist a individual. Right? I know that this topic is like a sad topic. Not much persons probably might favor this topic. Not much persons might have much to say on this topic. Not much persons might even want to listen to this topic, but it's something that pet owners, pet lovers, probably consider at times, especially when their pets, their fish, their dog, their cat, whatever they have as pet is deemed as is ill, and there is no what you call it now, there is no remedy so as to get them up and running again, right? So I have a fish, and the fish is ill. Do I get some chemicals and put it to sleep, or do I allow it to swim around until it dies naturally? Right? That's a question that's practically coming out of this discussion. Well, for me, I believe that you should allow the fish, the pet, to actually live out its miserable life. I don't believe in assisting your pet to die. I believe everything is for a purpose, right? And you actually um, mingling around that purpose actually deflate the purpose of that life, and the responsibility is not yours, right? So to what extent would you actually carry your pet fish, or your pet fish? You're an Aquarius. You are someone who keep fish. You are someone who actually have a good amount of aquariums or ponds like myself. Um, to what extent do you actually consider medication for your fish? To what extent do you consider putting your fish to sleep? To what extent do you actually just observe and probably use homemade treatments? Um, Sometimes unknowingly, unknowingly persons actually kill their fish, trying to actually medicate their fish, and that's another thing, self medication. In Jamaica, that's a popular thing. You have COVID-19, and a lot of persons have their remedies as to how they can actually manage this thing. They have a lot of herbs, because in the Bible, if you believe in the Bible, it says the herb of the land is the healing of the nation. So therefore, every single herb, every single plant that exists out there, right, have a purpose. It's not just there for show or to make the place look green. Right. For example, one morning I saw somebody picking up some things off the floor, or off the like plucking some things out of the earth. And I wonder what was that? And the person said that they were looking for some Medina. Medina is like a little herb. Probably you might not find it where you are at, but in Jamaica, because we are in the tropics, where we experience a warm and what do you call it, a warm, wet and dry season. We don't experience winter, so we have a lot of vegetation all over the place. And so we have a lot of plants that remain green throughout the year. Um, for example, we have persons use different plants for different things. For example, soursop leaf. Soursop leaf good for your nerves, right? The nerves, like sometimes some people have what you call it, ego, yeah, vertigo, yeah, vertigo. That's its name, vertigo, right? You would get some soursop leaf and some merengue, right? And you would boil it, and you would put a little bit of sugar just for taste, and you would drink that, right? And it should help you to feel much better. And if you use the merengue seed, yeah, it's a very tall tree, right? And it push out some seed into some pods. You would actually get the seed, and you would beat the seed out into powder, and you can drink it as tea. You can make it as tea, or you can actually grind it out into powder and actually and eat it, or you can actually take the seed and you can just bite the seed and eat, like, or you would eat sweetie. However, merengue is a little bit I call it bitter, but its nutritional value is of great, right? What's up, Jay? What's up, Jay? Nice senior boss. So we're talking about the whole idea of putting your pets to sleep. Is that something that you actually consider? You have other I call it now bush medicine, folk medicine that used in Jamaica, such as the aloe vera. Some persons use it. Well, some companies use it as a means of ingredients for their beauty products. Aloe vera is used by some persons to clear up infections, right? For example, if you have, let's say that you have some stomach problem, right? You would actually cut the aloe vera and you would actually scrape out that little thing in it, right? And you would actually consume it. Well, it's bitter. It's bitter more than the merengue. However, it has great uh, nutritional value, right? Very bitter, right? Some persons just cut it and just, right, and some persons actually just put it into some water and drink it in the water, right? Um, then you have what you call what's the name of the bush again? Persons call it herb, weed, ganja. And why am I talking about this? I'm talking about the whole idea of self-medication and how it relates to health, right? Some persons practice self-medication in the sense that they try to do DIY products so as to get the fish to feel better, right? And in a sense, it's like a slow death for the fish, right? Um, I come into the whole idea of taking a fish to the vet, right? I won't be long today, probably about 40 minutes. But at the same time, I'm gonna just continue along the line with what I was saying a while ago. Oh, my thought was on ganja, weed, herb. It has a lot of medicinal values, but according to scientists, it has more chemical components that have detrimental impact on the health of humans than those components that actually have nutritional and helpful values. In the sense that, let's say that a leaf of a soursop tree have three compounds, right? And out of the three, you might end up with two and a half of the compound, or probably two of the compounds being of great value to human health. Well, as far as and this is not the set amount. I'm not 100% sure because I'm not a scientist. As far as the ganja, marijuana, ganja, yeah, is concerned, it have over 5,000 or 500 compounds, and of that, less than 50 is good. Most of the compounds that exist within this herbal thing, it actually creates health issues to those persons who actually consume it. A few months ago, I did a video where I shared something with my fish, and it had them swimming really weird, right? Um, this this happens when you try to, speed up process of human biology, and also the creatures in which we are in charge of, right? Um, so that's where my headspace is at, right? I've passed several young men on the corner, And you might wonder how this relates to the topic. You'll soon see the linkage. I've passed several young men on the corner, practically within the inner city, of course, because I teach at a school that is located within the inner city, right? Same thing that persons within the state will be referred to as a project, or person, yeah, project, right? So it's not like a high income, middle income community. It's like a low income community. And in passing through this community, every single morning you will see persons actually kneading out their hand middles. What is in their hand middle? Marijuana. They grind out the leaves and take out the seed, and then they roll it up, and they make the spliff, and they smoke, sit back, and that's it. Right? Don't ask me if they work. Don't ask me what it does. Don't ask me how it impacts on the socio-economic condition within the community. All I have to say is that this is a very bad practice. Okay, so the question might be asked. So, do fish, like when we are sick and we actually go to the doctor because we are sick, is it that when when our pets, or should I say, when the pets in which we have, if they should, like say, be living in the wild, do they actually have a procedure in which they follow in the wild, in which they actually go um to a doctor? They use a specific mechanism so as to get better. Well, research have shown that some creatures, some birds and some insects, whenever they are ill in health, I'm not 100% sure about fish and aquatic species. Whenever they are ill in health, they are. A matter of fact, I know about dogs also and cats. When they are ill in health, at least in Jamaica, right? They would actually look for certain herbs, certain bush, certain plants, and they will actually consume it. And for example, let's say I've seen several times where dog is sick and the dog would actually go through and would probably eat some grass. You say they eat grass, or they eat special grass, and after a while you will see them pass out, something looking weird, really weird, whether they choke or they pass out waste through the normal channel, and feeling lethargic and all that for a while, and then after a while they are like back together again, right? So practically they actually self-medicate. That's the cats and the dogs, but you won't probably see that because some persons, as soon as they realize that their animals, their pets are sick, they are off to the vet. So here's the vet story now, um as far as fish keeping is concerned. All right. Vets study in general um about animals, but a vet doesn't necessarily study specific and specialize specifically in one set animal. You have vets that deal with cattle, like horses and cows, and cattle, animals like those, and you have vet that deals with aquatic creatures and all that, right? But you won't have a vet that deals with spiders or snake. You won't have a vet that specializes in that. You just have vet, right? Just like how you have a neurosurgeon, and you have a they call it the surgeon that deals with the specialist, the orthopedic doctor, the doctor which deals with bone. I have the doctor which deals with cancer. I have the doctor which deals with the ENT specialist, ears, the nose, and the throat. Right? You have those specialists. Um, it might be different as far as, I'm sorry about that. I'm just looking at a message. It's a little bit different as far as pet care is concerned. It's a classification. Vets deal with their cases based on classification. So they deal with them based on whether or not they are aquatic, they are warm blooded, they are, it depends on what classify, or should I say, what how they classify the pet unit you actually carry to them. Right? So they can actually adjust the situation. So they have a more um grounded knowledge in comparison to human physicians, right? But back to the story with regards to would you put your fish sick fish to sleep? I do not want this stream to be one that is too long that persons won't really um listen to the entirety of it all, right? This is something that I toyed with several times in regards to a fish feeling sick and whether or not I should actually put it to sleep. You know, put something in the water that gradually take it out of its misery, and then no probably that's it. One of the most stupid, careless thing that persons do, and you for those persons in fish keeping, you might say that who would do that? But people do is to put a sick dying fish to be eaten by another fish that is healthy and strong. For example, you have, let's say that you have some guppies and they look lethargic as if they are dying, right? And you throw the guppies in the pond with the Oscars or with the Jack Dempseys. So they will actually consume the lethargic, sick looking fish, right? Whilst you might say that this is, sorry, this is stupid, right? Persons should not have done that, right? Some persons regard that as waste that want not, in the sense that you don't want to waste anything, right? And to some extent, they might consider in their sick mind that feeding the fish to another fish actually helps the fish to get out of its misery. That kind of sound twisted and sick, but that reality exists. We have roughly 8 billion persons in the world, and not everyone thinks straight and reasonable as though they should. So what you find is that you have persons have different reasoning as far as to how they actually take care of their pets, right? So on the matter of, I'm coming down to the end of my stream, right? On the matter of whether or not you should actually put your dying fish to sleep. As I said a few minutes ago, I don't believe that this should be done. I believe that you should just allow time to take its course. Do you really want to be a doctor? I'm taking a verse from, or should I say, I'm taking a phrase from one of the popular dancehall artists in Jamaica. Do you really want to be that guy? Do you really want to be that person who actually uh end the life um end the life so sadly, right? Everything. Hold on a second. Okay, everything. Sorry. I was just looking at a message. Looking at a message. All right. So I'm winding on to the end. I said that I would just do 40 minutes today. I don't know if I'll be back again for tonight. But I think Rob 93 Aquatics is on either tonight or tomorrow night. Right? So everyone should be there. Right? I wanna thank you for actually spending time listening to my ramble this morning. The chat is um not that active as before. I guess the persons are not really used to me on live at this time, and persons need to go to their work, right? So I'm keeping it short that you can practically listen while you go along your merry way and during the course of the day. And that's it. Thank you very much for stopping by. Respect everyone for coming by, for listening, for giving a shout out. So the next stream is tomorrow. I don't know what time it. As usual, no schedule. Just stream. Why like that? Right? So tomorrow I talk about 10 fish tubers, 10 fish tubers that are in the good side of my book. 10 fish keepers that have my attention. 10 fish tubers that to me they have actually aided my growth, regardless of you might be looking to say, hey, but you have more subscribers than those that 10 fish tubers, but they have in some way or the other played an integral role in the development of my channel, whether it should be collabs, personal communication, all those little networking things that we do behind the scene. These persons have been great on a personal level to me, and I think that they are worth mentioning. So I spend 10 minutes on each. I think no, that would be well. I try to spend a good amount of time on each. For the 60 minutes tomorrow. I start a little bit earlier, probably about in the early morning, right? Probably about 6 o'clock. So I look at 10 fish tubers that over the years have been awesome in my support. Brother, cool, love it. Bye. Catch you next time.